Hey everyone, good morning, good morning. I think I have stopped coughing and sneezing long enough to talk to you all. Listen, thank you all again for supporting the channel. I'm keeping my eyes on the road, so you can still hear me and see me, but I may not, necessarily be looking in the camera. I want to say thank you all so much for your well wishes as I continue to get better. I'm telling y'all, this pollen, between the pollen here in Georgia, pollen everywhere, right? In the air, you can see it in the air. You can see it on the cars, on the ground, everywhere. And then also with the weather changes, okay? It went from being very warm, like a record warmth for the month of February, that last week in February. And now all of a sudden it's back cold again, like so much so that you have to have a big coat on. You really have to be bundled up to go outside. So I don't really know what's going on with the weather. I gotta take a look at the weather report. But I also another concern I have is back when it was getting warmer, I planted some seeds directly in the ground, right? Thinking, okay, it's warm. We had just had some rain recently. Everything's gonna be great. This is great for the garden. And now here we are again. It's back cold. So I don't know. I'm checking on my seeds each day. I do know it takes, a couple of days for them to germinate. So I'm hoping that the coldness, the cold weather, didn't have a negative effect on my seeds, on my vegetable seeds being, planted, sown directly in the ground. Okay. All right, y'all. I put some information about this next topic on the community tab, and I ask you all, or I'm asking you, if you are not familiar with it, after listening to the video, you can check community tab and do your own research. And I said on my post, while we all were tuned in to what's happening with the bank failures, Silicon Valley Bank, and now from my knowledge, Signature Bank is another bank that has, failed allegedly and everything. And then also many of us, including myself, we have, our eyes on the stock market, seeing what's going on with that. Several people are buying silver or gold and also watching the price of silver go up now. So while we're, tuned into all of that, right, while we're looking at all of that, there was a deal, okay, I call it the deal heard around the world. There was a deal made, an interesting deal, one that I have questions about. You may have questions as well. There was a deal made between, it was actually brokered by China, but there was a deal made between the countries of Saudi Arabia and also Iran or Iran. Some people refer to it either way, Iran. And it was brokered by China. In other words, what I mean by brokered, it was set up, it was set up by China. From the research that I've done, there were at least, I believe, 4 days of secret talks, okay? It was also said the sun is shining in my face, y'all. Nothing wrong with some sunlight, right? I thought my face looked greasy at first, but I guess it's just the light. So so China, okay, allegedly set up the negotiations between Iran and Saudi Arabia. Now, just to give you some background information, you can do your own research as well. From my understanding, these two countries, Iran and Saudi Arabia, they kind of somewhat severed ties over the last 7 years, and if not more. And I believe they closed their borders to each other, maybe cut off even economic ties. And so now China, and by the way, their current leader, I don't want to misstate his name, so I'll just say the current leader of China. He was elected, I believe, for a third term, I believe, is what I found in my research. And so a few days after that was announced, here it is, this deal is announced. So Iran and Saudi Arabia, they're allegedly going to open their borders up to each other. strengthen ties. Now, all of this is coming at a time where, China is continuously growing into a dominant world power. You can do your research. Several decades ago, China was, for lack of a better term, I'll just say, they were far worse than they are now. And over the past several decades, maybe some of you all on the channel, you were around during those times, and you can attest to the fact that China was not always the dominant global, or China has not always been the force that it is now. China over the past several decades has grown to be a dominant world power, world influence. Definitely when it comes to trade, here in the United States, we're, I believe, China's #1 trade partner. A lot of products, if you just look around maybe in your own home, a lot of products are made in China. Okay, and that is a concern because, why aren't we here in the United States? Why aren't we making more of our items here on U.S. soil, made in the USA? How many products do you see now that are actually made in the USA? Right? So I said all that to say, China, many people, just based on my research, many people believe that this is a flex, so to speak. China is showing that, hey, we have, influence. We can have influence in the Middle East as well. It doesn't just have to be the United States. What do you think a move such as this is saying? Should we be concerned? Now, I want to remind you, just not that long ago, I believe it was the OPEC Plus meeting, Saudi Arabia. If you go back and do your research, look at some of my videos, Saudi Arabia made the decision to cut the oil production against, at the time, what was President Biden's desires, I guess, or wishes or hopes for what they would do. So you have that going on. And then also, I don't know if y'all believe, maybe a couple of years ago, I can't remember the exact year, but something happened. I believe it was the country of Iran, and one of their leaders, or a very important figure to them in their country, passed away, and they vowed, it almost seemed like vengeance on the U.S. Do you all remember that? I can't remember the man's name, but someone from that country lost their life some kind of way, and the U.S. was involved. And those people there have been upset ever since. Okay, do you all remember that? Can someone put that information in the chat if you know what I'm talking about? I'll do some research and follow up on that. So I'm thinking, okay, two countries who, within the last year, or if not years, have not been happy with things the United States has done, and maybe continues to do. I'm not sure. They are now allies again. Okay, and the whole meeting, secret talks, which, by the way, I saw in one report, they were saying that in the secret talks that were over the span of 4 days, they were even saying that it could only be, the talks could only be carried out in Arabic, Farsi, Chinese, maybe. I hope I'm quoting the correct languages, but in other words, they didn't want it to be held in English. They didn't want it to be translated in English. Now, what do you all think that says? Hold on, y'all, I'm coming to a slowdown point. Could they, for some reason, not want the U.S. to know what's going on? Is it a sign that, hey, whatever we're doing, we're going against the United States, or we don't support the United States? So, again, anytime I report on world news, it's not to scare you, but I want to make you aware, hey, these are the things that are going on. And so, you kind of see and know what's to possibly come, okay? All of this news is coming at a time where it seems like, to many, even myself, I have questions about so many things, not only food shortages, water shortages, the strength of our economy, but the strength of our financial system. Are we witnessing the beginning of a collapse in our financial system? All of these things are happening. So while it seems like other countries, what's concerning is, right, when it seems like other countries are becoming allies and partnering together for whatever reason, okay? At the same time, it seems like here in the United States, we're appearing weaker. Do you all agree? Does it seem like we're appearing weaker for some reason? And what I mean by that is, all of this money has been printed, contributing to inflation. Now there are talks about hyperinflation, and I'm going to do a video where I break down all of that, because some of these terms, now that more and more is happening, some of us, not all of us, may be familiar with, okay, well, I heard them talk about this. What does this mean, Andrea? So I'm going to be doing some videos where I break down what is inflation, what is hyperinflation, why are people buying silver, what are the benefits of buying silver in an economy such as the one that we're currently living in. All of these things are happening. These other things are happening in the world, right? While all of our attention is being pulled and drawn to this particular issue, other things are happening that may be just as important for us to know about, okay? And that's why I told you all, if you remember, not to keep pointing, but, I'm using my hands to speak, right? I told you all that a lot of times when there's like this big thing, this one main issue that's being pushed, hey, read this, let's talk about this, look at what's happening here. There are other things, hold on y'all, let me sneeze. Excuse me. There are other things going on that they may not push to the forefront, but that we still very much so need to know about, okay? Let me know your thoughts on what's happening with Iran, Saudi Arabia, China's role in all of this, what it means for China, what it means for the other countries involved, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and what it means for the United States, okay? President Biden, I believe maybe yesterday sometime, I don't know the exact date, but he was asked about what was happening in between Saudi Arabia and Iran with this new deal that was brokered by China. He was actually speaking about the jobs report, the February jobs report, and as he was exiting, a reporter asked him about his thoughts, his feelings about this recent news with Saudi Arabia and Iran, and he turned around and he made the statement, something to the effect, and I'll just kind of paraphrase. He basically was saying that maybe any alliance or any dealings between Middle Eastern countries and, was it Israel, was good for everyone. You can maybe look it up and see. I hope I didn't misquote him. It was something to that effect. I'm trying to paraphrase. But that was his comment. So I don't know if what he was saying, I'm not saying what he said is right or wrong, but it didn't seem like the type of response that should have been given. It should have been maybe something more, I don't know, directly to the question that was asked. I don't know. So I really don't know about that. You can read it. I don't know, y'all. Let me know your thoughts, okay? Y'all take care. Be blessed. I'll be uploading more content as I, when I can, because I am kind of stuffy. Thankfully, I was able to get through this video, but I will be uploading more videos to the channel. I will also be posted to the community tab, so make sure you check the community tab. Stay tuned. Please leave your thoughts and comments below. I'm very curious to know your thoughts on this new deal between Iran, this new renewed relationship between Iran and Saudi Arabia at a time when everything is happening in the world, particularly here in the United States. What does this all mean again for China? What does it mean for Saudi Arabia, Iran? What does this mean for the United States? Okay, thank you all for continuing to support the channel. Have a blessed day, and I'll see you again soon.